I recently sat down with my friend, Seth Kean, a promoter for Queen City and Legacy Productions, to ask him what advice he would give independent artists if they wanted to look more attractive for the shows that he is booking. The following will be an uncut version of the interview I had at our local Kansas City Music Industry Night networking events. If you're interested in the highlights from this conversation, or just want to hear more of my takes on this conversation in a shorter format, check out the video in the description below. Super grateful for Seth's time and his insight. I hope you find something useful from this video.
I want to say thank you for coming out. I feel like I've seen most of you at one of these events before, so it's really great to have you coming out again, and I hope all of you have been getting a lot of value out of these events. I know I can speak for most of you in that I've seen a lot of projects come out of this, a lot of shows, a lot of new creative projects, a lot of working with new relationships with new producers, artists, writers, and things of that nature. And so kind of to extend that, I wanted to level up our game with doing these events and offer more value to y'all, and also just kind of get more serious. I think we have a lot of talent here in Kansas City and a lot of people who are doing really cool things, and I've said this so many times, so I'll just keep saying it, but a lot of us don't know each other, and so it's really cool to get out of our shell, meet each other in these types of spaces, and get to know what we're working on, see friends, build those bridges, and continue to collaborate and make our city a great music city, and see all of our amazing artists kind of, the rising tides raises all ships kind of, idea. So, like I was saying, one of those things we want to do to kind of level up is offer some more insight from industry professionals that can help us to solve problems that we're having as artists, as producers, as music industry folks. And so the first person I wanted to bring up is Seth Kean. We're still figuring that out. He's my good friend. He has experience in many areas of the music industry. If you don't know him, he's a great person to know. Not only is he a good person, he is great and hardworking in the music industry. He's one of the people that has high integrity when it comes to booking shows, making sure artists get taken care of, and also making sure that they get to grow and meet their goals. Seth has worked as a tour manager, a producer, a booker. He has been in so many sides of the industry, definitely a person to pick his brain about his experience. And if you have questions about getting shows and getting on shows that you're excited to see, he's probably put on lots of shows that you've enjoyed, and you're like, how do I play that show? He will let you behind the curtain a little bit today on how to do that. Zach, Benjamin, nothing, cool, all good with me. If someone wants to put up their phone and record this so we can share this with people who aren't here, we are good to go. All right. Without further ado, if you all could give a good round of applause to Seth Kean and invite him up, and we're going to have a little chat. I'll give you this microphone so you don't have to walk across me. I hope my introduction wasn't too gassing you up.
No, this is just weird. I'm used to hiding during events and shows and not being in front of people, so this is just very weird.
Yeah, I've known Seth for about 5-6 years now, and we've done shows very much in this space since then.
Yeah, so it's interesting for sure.
Seth, kind of start us off. So I said that you're a promoter and booker. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like for you? What does your job entail?
A lot of just emailing with management, with bands, with agents, helping to connect the dots for tours, filling in gaps, things like that. Basically, I'll start my morning getting emails from agents about new tours coming up anywhere. They could be this month, they could be a year and a half down the line. It just varies depending on sizes and things like that. I present shows in about 7 or 8 different cities, so I'm kind of all over the place usually. I live here in KC though.
So if someone was to say, I don't fully grasp what a promoter does, what is their job between an artist, a venue, and how the show happens? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my job basically is I'll get an offer, I'll reach out to wherever city or venue they're wanting to land the show at. So say here, I'll hit up, I'm sure most of you know Ben from here, but I'll hit up Ben, see if the dates are even available, get the date locked in, start confirming the show, confirm it with the agent or the manager, and then get everything situated. We'll get it announced, usually about 8 weeks to 12 weeks in a perfect world, so we could have time to promote, get locals that need to be added, get everything situated. Then finally the show comes, and I run the shows, present everything, and then I just walk around and pay everybody at night.
That's about what it looks like, I feel like.
Yeah.
So Seth is kind of like the guy that is putting the show on, so he's connecting all those people together and making sure the event actually happens. What would you tell an independent artist is one of like the most important things for them to know when it comes to getting booked on, say, a larger show or a show that's coming through town, or kind of getting to the level where they are, interfacing with promoters on a regular basis?
If you are at the point where you've built yourself up enough to where you've been playing the local scene for a while and you think it's time to start like expanding into like supporting national acts or even regional acts, at that point then it's good to make sure that like, I don't know you exist, it's hard for me to put you on shows. And that's the thing, like I can't be at every single DIY venue, I can't be at every single house show. Send me a link. Like, even if it's, not being mean, even if it's trash, just something I know to, because I get it, recording's expensive. That's why you have people like him. Like, at least send me something so I know what I can put you on, so I have something to base it off of, and that's kind of where I'm at, because not to toot my own horn with who we have presenting shows in this market, I'm one of the only ones fighting for locals to get on shows. Because at the end of the day, playing in front of your friends and your family and people who feel kind of obligated to come support you is cool, but building your fan base, building your craft in front of a whole crowd that nobody knows who you are is what you should be aiming for, because you're always wanting to build new fans, get in front of new spots, be a little uncomfortable. Because if you're comfortable, you're just gonna stop trying, and who cares at that point? And I'm not trying to be mean, like obviously it's all about fun and just doing what you want, but if you're wanting to get as support for like national acts, or if you're wanting to just be playing bigger venues or making this your job, like the effort has to be there.
So what are some things that artists can do to kind of show you that there's someone who's taking it seriously and someone that would be a good pick to put on a show for a larger band or a larger show that you have coming through? So Seth has shows that come through here in the Truman. What other venues in town do you also book?
Record Bar is another one. I do stuff on occasion at Bottleneck here in Lawrence. I'm going to start doing stuff at a new venue here called Warehouse, which is like a 650 cap that's just opening up. It's in it's kind of near Mills Records and stuff like that over there in Westport. It's the guys who own it have been here for a long time. They used to run Czar Bar back in the day. They used to be connected to Riot Room. So it's got good roots and it's independently owned, which is super nice because corporations are fun. So as one of the only people that's doing shows at the Truman, which is independently owned but it's corporate ran, it's a lot more interesting to present stuff. But kind of circling back, first thing I look at whenever I go to put on trying to even figure out locals for shows or things like that, is the thing that Riley and we always have fun conversations about. But if I look and I see you playing 8 shows in Kansas City in the same month, and that sounds like an exaggeration, but it happens. And I get it. Love what you do, play, have fun, but if you're wanting it to be like a bigger thing and you want to actually be taken seriously as far as like getting on regional, national acts and stuff like that, I need you making your shows an event. And if your friends and family can come see you 8 times in a single month, they're not going to care to come out every single time. Whereas if you're playing, I think, even if you're just starting, I think you shouldn't play your market more. When you're first starting, I can understand like every other month, but when you're to the point where you've already established yourself, you have a fan base, quarterly. I know that sounds like it's not enough, But like if you're wanting to push yourself, you want to make your shows events. And then that's the point where if you're playing quarterly, you could probably take the reins and be your own promoter. Go into a venue, present your own show, and you'll actually draw a full crowd. You'll do all those things.
That's a really interesting thing to bring up, because I think even starting that relationship, it's hard to go and say, hey Seth, put me on a show. And Seth's like, great, would love to. Do you have recorded music? Great, check if you have that. He's like, oh, I like this. He's like, who else have you like played for? What's your like standard draw? Just to give him an idea, because you have to go back and present that to the other bands you might be opening for and saying, hey, we should put this local on because they will add to the value of the show. And so I think independently going in and promoting your own shows is a really great way of doing it. So what advice would you give to someone who's like, man, I'm going to go in to a venue and say, I would like to put on my own show. What should they have ready?
So it's not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
And as someone who, I've also been a general manager for a venue, I've been a talent buyer for venues, I kind of help here with a lot of stuff. I do most of the national ticketed events here. Like, you're stepping into my role, which has a lot of hats that you weren't expecting just as a musician, that whenever I normally will be like, yeah, load-in's at 5, you come in, play your 30-minute set, and then you're done. You're the first one here, you're the last one to leave, you're on the hook for literally everything financially. So if you guarantee the other band something, that's coming from your pocket. You still gotta pay your sound engineers, you still gotta pay your door staff, you still gotta pay sometimes a rent in some of these rooms. So you're taking on a larger risk, but if you're confident enough that you think you're to that point, I say go for it, because then you kind of get a better understanding of what I'm going through, understand that we're not all just raking in money, because there's not a whole lot of money unless you go corporate. It's been a passion project, honestly, for me for 15 years.
Along the way, you've gotten to work with some really cool bands.
Yeah.
Who would you like? I know you've got the whole wall over here. On the other side, Seth's got a whole wall of posters of shows that he's promoted and worked on. But what are some highlights maybe from your career that you'd like to share?
It's kind of, honestly, this is a curveball. If there's any Office fans in here, I've done several shows with Creed Bratton. And it was honestly the coolest thing I've ever, and I did a date in St. Louis and Phyllis came out, and she's literally Phyllis from the show, and it's just the best thing in the world. I've done, like, getting to do some different things, like, obviously musicians are sick, and I've gotten to not only, I treat, regardless of who they are, I treat bands as if they're like friends and family. I don't want you just to think that you're a show. I've built so many artists over the years that are now massive, playing arenas and things like that I still go to and hang out with, because we just built that connection when they were smaller, and it's just like, I just want to...
your friends? Like, who might we know? I know that.
It just depends. Given yesterday, some really good friends of mine are in a band called Knock Loose. They were just nominated for a Grammy. I've been working with them since they did 30 paid. So it's wild seeing them be like literally the biggest band in heavy music right now. A lot of my friends are like in metalcore, pop punk, emo bands, because that's usually the genres I enjoy and like what I like working with. So like the guys in Hot Mulligan, Knuckle Puck, Turnover. I got to, again, Grammy, she won a lot yesterday, but I've worked with Chaperone for several years. My ice cream shop did collabs with her for her release shows and stuff like that. So it's been crazy. There's a lot of friends, there's a lot of stuff, but again, it's just like taking care of people, making people feel like they're family. I want them to be happy that they're coming to Kansas City, or they're coming to my markets in Indy or Nashville or Springfield, Missouri. I'm sure there's a lot more I can mention, but...
Sweet. Well, thanks for kind of giving us the intro, a little bit of insight so far. I wanted to open it up, if you're open to it, to the room, if anyone had any specific questions for you.
That'd be great, yeah.
We can kind of go that way. Feel free, if you feel loud, you can speak up. I'll call out. And then if not, Jeremy's got a God mic in the back there. He's starting.
Hey,
So,
okay, yeah, you
you
Wait, that was supposed to be where I stood during this whole thing.
He's still your idea.
Okay, you at front, you had a question here?
Yeah, just real quick. You said like a musician needs to be willing to do something that makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Would this be too uncomfortable if they like had a song already prepared, but they felt all of a sudden impromptu to just totally blurt out an original right then and there? If they're a solo artist.
No, I think that's great. Like when you say you had a song planned, was it like an original or was it like a cover or?
Like you did have a song of your own already written.
Oh yeah.
But you're ready to just like do another original.
Are you saying like improv and original in the moment?
Yes.
I don't have that kind of confidence, but whoever does, you should do it because everyone needs that energy, you know?
Yeah, no, more so what I was meaning when I said uncomfortable is supporting bands you don't know. Like thinking of it as a way, because it's like a whole, like the music industry is literally about who you know. And it's all about making connections. You can go to college all you want. It was a funny running joke for me when I would get hit up from, I lived in Springfield for quite a while, and I would get hit up from like students at Missouri State that would be like, I want to do what you do, what should I do? My response was always quit. And I don't mean it in a bad way, because yes, you can go to school, you can do all that, but at that point you're putting yourself 4 years behind someone who's been grinding through venues or touring with bands or doing any of that stuff. But when I say like uncomfortable, it's more so to like, hey, that band that's coming from Joplin, or hey, that band that's coming from Wichita, do a show trade with them. That way you're helping get them a fan base here, you're also potentially getting a fan base in Wichita when you decide you want to come through. Like Riley said, if you feel like you want to improv and do that, I can never do that. But yeah, no, I mean, as a musician, that's kind of your thing. Like, people would, I mean, I think that's, go for it if you want, but yeah.
Yeah, fun question. I think it's a great point, is to put yourself in a place where you're running and working with people that want to do the same things you do, kind of find your like-minded people. This is a great event to do that. You know, who you know could be also finding people that are in the same spot as you that want to kind of work together. It's like running a marathon with running partners. I'm going to go to Jamogi up front here, and then we got a question back here next. Well, Joe Mogi's, he's got a voice.
Yeah. I'm Jamogi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And so my question is more so about how do you get on the radar of a venue where you want to perform? So for me, for example, I know I want to eventually step on a Truman stage to perform.
Yeah.
So is it more so on socials? Are you just constantly tagging them in material, or do you send an email?
Tagging them, yes. Social media is very hard right now. Either if you're in a place like me where I also like manage, because of me doing shows for so long, I run ads from bands and stuff. I miss notifications all the time. So a direct message is your best way. I wouldn't, if you're trying to really get a hold of someone, I wouldn't DM like their socials. I would find an email. An email is going to get you a direct contact better than I tell people all the time, if you message me on Facebook, I'm not seeing it. Like, between all the pages I run in the background for shows that I run ads for and things like that, I miss notifications all the time. I honestly have my stuff muted because I was just getting overwhelming. But yeah, I would say specifically find like what you're doing. So say if you're a photographer and you're wanting to do that, find out who the social manager is for the pages and kind of get your foot in the door that way. If you're wanting to do like shows and stuff like that, find whoever is the in-house buyer or the booker for the venue.
So there's someone who does what you do at the venue.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Truman is booked through AEG, big corporation. They're in a weird setup. Like, they're independently owned by a group of individuals based out of Nashville, and they're great people. And I'm not saying corporations are bad. It's just like they're booked by AEG, which is literally everywhere.
It'll be harder to get your foot in the door with those groups, but you gotta be all more relationship based. And there's been people in this room and people that we know that we can connect connect to at those places, that they'll get to know your name. Like, oh yeah, Jamoki, he's great. I want to put him on this show that I've got coming up. And you're kind of more building that relationship, which is why I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get Seth here for everyone, so you guys can meet him. And if you're in a genre that kind of matches up with him, he's a great person to know, because he's like, oh, who do I know that I'm friends with that would be really great for this show, and I already like their music. You know, you kind of start that way. But I think it's a great point that reaching out to them directly, whether that's a DM, but really like the sneaky way, and it's not sneaky, it's just figure out who that person is behind the brand and just interface with them. So whether that's you can find their email or you can find a way to like get connected with them, the more that you can build this relationship, the better off you are at actually getting to that point where you get those type of opportunities. I'm not gonna like call this out, but Adam Doyle and Shotgun Wedding sitting around the back, great band, got to play Red Jumpsuit Apparatus at the Truman with Seth, because there was already that kind of like, he knew what you were gonna get.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, this is a big event, I gotta put people in that I trust.
Yeah.
They're gonna deliver, here we go.
Yeah.
So kind of finding those people that you can really build those relationships with. So we know a few of those people.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Great.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the best way to go about it. But yeah.
Sweet. Friend back here, tell us your name and your question.
Okay, now as a promoter who does shows on this, I now understand when people say these lights are bright.
Yeah, we always get complaints like, can you turn this down? And I'm like, yeah, you just pretend that you can see whoever and give them a movie. It's like,
I'm hiding in the back being like, you're such a baby, and now I'm like here, and I'm like, okay, I get it now.
All there to see your beautiful faces.
Oh,
My name is Drake. I'm the drummer for Rivermouth and Ravines. You mentioned that you said to make shows quarterly, but make them an event. How do we make it an event? What websites, apps, newspapers, radio stations do we talk to to make it an event? What would you recommend?
So, obviously, like, you're gonna want to stick with what your sound is. So if there's a radio station that is already playing the same style of music that you're playing, that would be your best bet. If you're like a red dirt country band, you're not going to hit up the bridge to pop your show, because it's just not the general fan base. More so when I say make it an event, I'm like, if you're stepping into that promoter world where you're gonna take on doing the show, like, obviously put other bands that sound like yours on it, but also be in the same boat where they're also not overplaying. Maybe you can even go to the lengths of doing some different sponsors, or having some organizations set up at your table, like table at your events, that might be able to like be part of your message or what you're selling or things like that. It's just another thing is, like, when I say make it an event, it's because there's a lot of bands who will play 8 shows in a month, and at that point your shows aren't events. They're just obligations to your friends and family, because they want to support you, but at the same time they're just exhausted. And I used to be someone like that, and I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a follow-up question for that.
Yes.
Then. So as a new band, we obviously want to get our name out there.
Yeah, I understand that as a new band too.
At what point do you recommend that you switch from like trying to get your name out there to once a quarter? Is there like a good time to do that?
I feel like you'll kind of know. It's like a...
Are you ready for the next level?
Yeah.
It's like when you're in a relationship. It's different for everyone, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, I think I'm ready for the next thing, you know. and then you just know. I do think it starts to be like, you know, when all the bands are like, yeah, it's cool, we played Minibar and the Rhino 8 times now, but it'd be cool if we did like Record Bar or maybe something else. And I think at that point you'll start to be like, okay, what is it going to take to get to our next goal?
Yeah.
Because there's things that are a little bit easier to access, and then there's things that are going to take a little bit more, just kind of rapport or reputation, and you'll know when that time comes.
Yeah.
It's probably like 6 months to a year, I would say.
Yeah. Cause like, obviously when you're first starting out, I get it. You're excited. You want to play all these shows. And I completely understand, but at a certain point, it's in your best interest to start like pulling back and not saying yes as much. Because again, it's just spacing out your shows. Because if you want to build a fan base, you want those people to want to come.
right? And how different is really your set from it was 6 weeks ago if you play that often? So it's kind of balancing, and I tell this to the artists I work with, so none of the people in this room would know what I'm saying, is it's kind of like you don't want to go up to play a show and be like, I have no recorded music, so this is a one-night stand, and you don't get to listen to me at any other point except for at my show. And so I always tell people, if you're in the studio, you're getting recordings, you're writing new songs to try out those shows, if you've got a good balance of that, where your shows can really be a new experience every 6 weeks, maybe you can justify that.
Yeah.
But that would have to be your full-time thing, where you're like a creative savant and you're putting out amazing things all the time. I know for me, it's like I build a show, I kind of want to play that show for the year, and then do it 4 times really well.
Because another thing too is, like, kind of going off what you said, if you're playing the same 5 or 6 songs every single set, like, at a certain point, you gotta ask, are people going to care? Like, and that's why I say, like, make it an event, like, get some new songs, like, going off of you, like, get some new songs ready, or do different things, because it's just like...
It's like a single release, now it's an event. If it's an EP release, now it's an event. If it's, I have a Christmas album I put out 2 years ago, but I'm gonna redo that show and do it again. I think there's a lot of really fun, creative ways to make it an event, where it's like, maybe we're gonna do, like, Car Microwave and Landline did a split EP. They like went in on studio time and then shared doing songs together, and then they did a whole show around that. So like that's another way to make it an event where I was like, oh man.
Very unique things, can't miss.
Yep.
Also going to be honest, because you kind of brought up something about it. If you're a smaller band just starting out, don't feel obligated that you need to write a 10-song record.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think until you're to a point, and again, you'll know, it's in your best interest, just for me as more of like a social media person too, is release a single, get all that hype. Say you go into the studio and record 3 to 5 songs. Release that single, get a bunch of hype, and then in a month, 2 months, you can release another single. Like, EPs or just a couple singles are totally okay, way more affordable, and you get to just keep building hype. You get to keep your fans coming back for more. Whereas if you release an album, you get buzz for, in today's world, a week, 2 weeks.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Like, it's Friday in an afternoon, you're like, that was nice.
That was a
That's
good
what you got. It's like
that was
4
a
hours,
good-
like, oh yeah, I listened to that.
That was a good release radar day.
Yeah.
Cool, what else? But yeah, so it's just like keeping the attention of your fans, keeping the attention of people, keeping people coming back to your pages to check out when can I see you live? When that song you just released, I want to hear it live so bad. When can I see that? And yeah, just
Some strategy there for sure. We could talk about that for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to take one more question. I know we're really close on time. Seth is going to hang out for a little bit in the other room, so we can let open mic start up as well. I know, Nick, you had your hand up. Do you have a quick question?
You can make it quick.
We'll make it.
I just want your general thoughts on artist development. I know that was a big topic at the Grammys. Just like, what do you look for? What kind of, I don't know, just what's your thoughts?
Like the Chapel Roan, like artist development
Yeah, I
comments?
mean, it's like, in a local scene, it's kind of hard to get out of the local scene. Like,
Yeah,
so just
no.
like, in general.
I understand that completely. Getting out of the local scene, I always go back to the whole like finding bands in other scenes that are like you, to where you can do show trades and things like that, just to help build each other. But I feel like just knowing you're at a certain point as an artist, you also need to know your value and your worth. Like, understand that you're not going to be rolling in it for quite a while, but knowing that, hey, that last show, I know for a fact we brought 50 people. Like, making sure you're getting taken care of it as far as like financially or things like that. I know it's a bit old school, but a real good way to prove your value and your worth.
But like selling tickets and doing that, because if you say I had 40 tickets, I sold them, it's all our money, like, you know for a fact you brought those 40 people, you know your value, you know what you're capable of, and then that's also a great way to know that where you're at a certain point as your band's growing. It's like, hey, I know for a fact we brought 50 people. I know we brought 100 people. Then just a more guaranteed way, because this industry is, especially now after COVID, is very finicky with people committing to coming to shows, especially trying to get people to come to local shows. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but money is just not there anymore. And again, that's another reason why I say make your shows in a bay, because people are going to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks at a and don't do shows under $2. I'm sorry, at this point, nobody's making money. Like, how much? Minimum for a local show, $10. But I would see even that, because by the time you pay out a sound guy at $150 to $100, you pay your door person $100, you pay rent, you start going to pay guarantees. You do the $5 shows. Like, that was cool in '85, but it was like
That math is very different in 85, isn't it?
yeah.
But, okay, we got a 1 minute speed round.
Yeah, no, you mentioned about since COVID and everything. If I were a band that was pretty active before COVID and have since like kind of like been on like the hiatus, what's like the biggest like difference I can expect versus being used to be good at booking versus now we're trying to get back out there a few years later? Like, what's the biggest change? And like I think like your expenses are probably quadruple. Okay.
Yeah, touring is crazy now.
Touring is crazy expensive. Like,
Just booking local shows.
oh, like booking local shows.
And getting people out.
Yeah,
They don't do that anymore, right?
well, it's just because at any given point, I mean, in a city like KC, you could have 5, 6, 7 shows happening at the same night. So you're trying to get people to come to your show specifically when you could be competing with show at the Truman, T-Mobile, and Midland. But again, even if you're just going local, like, you can have a show here, you could have a show at Binny Park, you could have a show at Howdy, any of these like smaller rooms, and it's just hard trying to get people at that point to commit.
I think we've seen a downturn in people coming to live music. I think it's coming back up. Like, so post-COVID, we had a couple of years where it was really low for obvious reasons. But we're starting to see that come up, and we're seeing some younger people come out to shows, which is very cool. I know you've shows where it's just like, everyone in here is a minor, which is
and then I have to
not
go,
good for the bar,
I have
but
to
cool
go to-
for music.
I have to go to bed at the end of the night and be like, the show sold out. I'm sorry about your bar. But like, the parents were stoked because there was a bar. But no, yeah, it's getting better. I'm seeing a huge uptick in younger kids coming to shows, which is cool, especially like the hardcore and metalcore scene. Seeing young kids still like 14, 15 in high school coming out to shows in full force is honestly so sick, because I feel like there was such a gap for a while. That's like getting kids to come to live music rather than just sitting on social media all night or watching videos. I feel like I'm aging myself, but like it's just weird because I started before that was really a thing. So it's cool like seeing this resurgence come back, and especially like at the hardcore scene, man. It's really cool, really cool seeing like young kids coming out and just being themselves, not caring what they're wearing or how they're looking or who they are, just being honest with themselves. And it's just so sick. So
That's a little different, but we're going to chat more about the side as well. Well, two things. Can we give a big round of applause and say thank you to Seth?
can we also thank Riley?
Next, I want to ask if this is something you're interested in doing more of. This is the first time we've kind of done like a speaker. I want to get a quick poll while I've got you on the room, because most of you are the folks who come to these types of things. If that's something you'd be interested in, can you just raise your hand if you want to see more topics like that? Awesome, that's all I need to see just to encourage me to keep doing this. yeah, if you have some subjects you want to talk about, either you can DM the Instagram for the KC music industry or just talk to me after. But next up, we've got the open mic. We're going to have the very Jeremy Nathan kick us off here in a minute. So if you haven't signed up, please do. That's up front here. We're going to get the order set up. Ben is not here, but Benjamin is here, so we're all taken care of. Yes, and amen. All right, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you, Seth. And we'll have open mic here in a couple of minutes.
So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Two things: if you're interested in coming to our next Kansas City Music Industry Night, you can go ahead and follow the socials for that event in the description below. Also, if you have any ideas for more topics that might benefit independent artists, make sure to leave them in the comments. Or if you have any questions that you'd like help with, also put them there and I might be able to reach out and give you a helping hand. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.